in terms of overall points.
I think both Petic and TapLast were players that need to get a first, pretty much, because at 19 points, you're a little bit too far away from that 8th position to make it to day 3, whereas maybe Safo, Noerum, and Skarambez have a little bit more leeway. Maybe a second would be enough, actually.
So Noerum here starting with the rod. Interesting to see whether or not this is going to be one of those I'm going to go 8th game, so it's going to be one of those I am going first or second games.
Well, he went 4th last one, so he went down the middle, actually.
Speaking of going down the middle here, Olaf, you would like to have run it down in the early game so you can get those stacks. So interesting whether or not this could be an angle. As we've seen before, rod not necessarily a bad starting item for the Olaf composition. We're talking about Ionic Spark, the likes of that. So as long as he's not in a position where he can make economy here, I think he is fine. Also, somewhat controversial choice of arena as well. I want to highlight that. I want to highlight that a little bit. But,
Spell Sword's enchantment is going to be the Mirage for this final game of day 2.
Looking like an AP opening though, right? Like tier rods. It's going to be holding on to that Olaf, because that is going to be important. And so speaking of AP items and AP open as well, you said yourself, it's Spell Sword enchantment, and there's a Leona 2 in the shop. So it's not going to buy it before the round starts, because he wants to have both the Leona 2s in the bench, so this process here is going to be sped up. So he's going to be killing the creeps quicker than he would be with just a single Leona 2. So if he's not going to get dropped any gold here, I expect to see the Taim Kench or the Skana being kicked to the wayside.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends a little bit on what he gets here as well in terms of components, but he is going to go with the Leona, like you said, picks her up, gets the upgrade, and we're into our first augments, golden augments coming through. What is exciting about that, Wida? You're making sounds.
I mean, like, Luden's Echo is just a good catch-all one in general, but like the one that's really standing out to me there is Cybernetic Implants. It is just one of those augments that, while being like, okay, he's aiming for like an AP route here, he has the early Leona 2. Implants is just so good. Like, you get the AD, you get the HP, you get, like, it's just all around it. Especially when you have an opening like this, where you really don't want to slam a single item and just can kind of just spread around components. So, like, belt the Leona to the Seth, and then you rot the Yone.
Another favorite of yours.
Yeah, this is the early one. This is coming from the pre-level, actually, right? Like, very often we see the Lulu here on stage 2-1. You're expecting to see something like the Essence Theft, something that Scapeus had a lot of history with doing in the Golden Special Cup number 2. Odesza with the Guild Spat here, David. What is your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's kind of open to a lot of different variations going to the late game. We've seen Guild even with scale scoring earlier today, and it did actually work out. Odesza was actually the first, if I'm not mistaken, in that game 1 that we saw today. So I think it's a pretty open emblem. You can go, of course, a typical Xayah comp, which is not what it used to be. Of course, we know this, but still playable if you find everything perfectly and you find that Xayah early on. But I don't think it really commits you fully into that vertical guild. It is, I think, a quite open trait overall.
We are seeing the augments in the overall comparison on the left side of the screen. I love seeing that gadget expert. That always makes me happy coming out from Skarambez here. We are also informed that TapLast, who has that better together, already has trainers with a Heimer 2 in the get-go. And then Safo, who won the previous round on that trade sector, another augment that I just love playing with here.
We haven't really seen meditation all day, I think, and that is what Petic currently has. So a couple of interesting things you can do with meditation, right? When you start looking into the late game again, it's worth noting here that you will not be seeing Petic slam any items, any components in the early game, because he needs that additional mana gain. But it means you can start prioritizing aura items to play something like a... you can play Odesza, for example, right? A spell source, so you can, you can slam like a Seek's Herald, for example. You can slam Cone to get the AP and the attack speed scalings up. It works exceptionally well with something like an AO Shin, something that we've seen a lot of players take a favor to if they can, Fast 9. So that is something you need to look out for here, because it presents some angles we haven't really seen touched in that way so far today.
And Skarambez, a very good Jade start, has a Dragon Mancer as well with a Karma, with Gadget Expert and Static Shield already slammed. A good front line with Guardian and Leona 2 and some Fire Cape as well. So overall, a pretty stable looking board for this stage 2, and hopefully going to have a good Econ and Gold lead to try and build what is considered the classic Jade comp with Shio Yu and Nico later down the line.
The term investor here, Panda, is going to be the streamer scale item of choice. And this is something that you had a couple of thoughts on that we started the day, and we haven't really gotten around to talk about it. So can you like kind of run us down with like what the what does Diamond Hands accomplish in the late game these days?
Well, first is the early game. It's kind of an investment. You're not going to get much out of it early game. You're trying, you're going to have not really the most impactful item right away, but it's something that you build towards to. Once you get those 7 deaths, once you get that Diamond Hands online, it adds so much tankiness to things like Shyvana. Shyvana, one of those units that we've talked about, has been a menace, not just today, but yesterday as well. The entire tournament has been one of the most important units throughout every single lobby we've seen played on stream. So if you're able to get this Diamond Hands on Shyvana or on Idis even, can be incredibly good and has your frontline pretty much set for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I am most curious though. I know he doesn't have a chance to get through anymore, but I'm curious what Zbrojson is up to, because once again, he's on a downward trend in terms of HP, which is nothing new, but he seems to have found trainers as well, Mage Angle. Actually, Mage Siphon, a comp that we have seen a lot as well in the Golden Spatula Cup and in this tournament, doing really well generally. So it's curious that none of these have really come through and got a first place, but for that top 4, really, really nice comp.
We'd have to ask you, with all your experience watching competitive EMEA throughout all these years, have you ever seen a player so consistently stick to this strategy of going 8th every single game we've seen him on stream? Without, I mean, literally every single game. It was a meme at the beginning of the day, but now it's been every single game sticking to the same strategy and actually, for the most part, pulling it off. Not so much in these last few games. Has there been anything like this before?
I mean, it's kind of like how some players are just not committed to their playstyles, right? Going all the way back to the Galaxies, we had players that were pretty committed to playing a mech as the only thing they were able to play. I think if we want to like draw parallels to another player that also was in this event, I think Ball had a very similar style in the past as well. Like they're trying to maximize their loss streaks. And then, kind of wait and kind of turn around. We saw Sologasang as well back in the day, and Galaxies play nothing but Cockmore reroll for straight up the entire duration of the entire event, pretty much going into it. We're talking about a 2 weekend long events. So we have seen players that are notorious for one trick, and whether it's going to be a composition or a style. And again, this comes like this way from Zbrojson, right? This is a playstyle that you'd expect to see a lot of people try to replicate tomorrow once they go past that break point of 18 points. For right now, I mean, I guess Zbrojson is just kind of trying to have a high to close the day out on.
Diamond has now stacked up to 4. The, kind of sacrifice the set strategy is working out pretty well for Sapo here, changing it up completely. Not going to be playing this various reroll we saw pop off in that game 5 instead. We'll see. With Trade Sector, I think he's still keeping his options quite open. And until we get to stage 3, maybe that level 7 roll down, we're not really going to know what combo he's going to try and settle for.
Yeah, Skarambez and TapLast are both currently still on fire with that 100 HP. I love seeing it. It means they haven't met each other yet. Curious when that's going to happen. But first, we're going to go into the crux here and see if players can pick up something that's interesting to them from these little stone boys.
I mean, what are you even looking for here if you are TapLast, right? Like, you got the locket. That is so far so good. You slam the TG to streak. So far so good. A belt here would give you Seeks, I guess. That could be something that you want to aim for. Just try to play the full streak out in that fashion. I will say though, if that is going to be your like kind of starting point, it's going to be quite hard for you to go first because you are going to be working with a lot of suboptimal items. Okay, gets a spatula. This can kind of start throwing a spanner into things, right? Because we know how prevalent Spell Sword can be for the Mirage angle. He has a Mirage Spat, not going to take it, but that was an angle to look out for real, though.
Skarambez found the Anivia 2 is already one of the win streak players at 100 HP, has gone level 6 at 31 to defend this win streak as well. He's one of the players we mentioned, is in contention to make it into the day 3, is in a very good spot coming into this game 6. and has started off magnificently.
TapLast following him right away into that level 6, making sure that if they meet now, he has a chance to defend his streak as well, both of them on that early level 6. We are seeing the general economy here. Sappho already on 50 gold, still on level 5 though, so we'll try and invest that sooner than later. And currently TapLast and Noerum are fighting it out here, but TapLast really hoping to keep that win streak on.
Gonna be a close one here. Elise trying her best, but not quite enough. The set ends up getting the kill. I think it's gonna be a little bit too much for TapLast to handle. So Noerum, also one of the players in contention to make it to day 3, in a very good spot coming into this game number 6. It wins that fight and stays quite healthy, surprisingly enough. We're used to seeing Noerum at the bottom ends alongside Zbrojson for most of the games. In this case, he's trying to play it a bit more safe.
Oh, this is Stand United here. That is always lovely. There's no Sunfire Cape built, so Sunfire board automatically goes up in value. Action Mark is something that I think most people should just like disregard as an augment in general. Goes for reroll. So
very interesting.
Salvage spin is something that we need to talk a little bit about, right? Because this is like I was talking to Tiaan about this, where it's like a lot of people really like component grab bag. Well, Salvage spin is essentially a component grab bag with one less component and just like infinite flexibility, right? And it kind of helps alleviate the problem I was highlighting for TapLast before, where he's kind of stuck with some awkward items. He's going to be going with the cybernetic shell instead, which I think is a fantastic augment. It really does help, you know, just make your board that much more tanky. I think all the cybernetic augments are just quite good. And speaking of an interesting position here, that is a Manamute and a Spear of Shojin combo. Look at the pace that this is going to be casting here. And this board, I've played something incredibly similar in the past. This is going to be, this should be able to carry him to a fast 8 and just ease up these transitions. Could even potentially try to go for a fast 9, depending on the natural shops he is going to be producing throughout stage 4.
I'm just laughing because Matt was saying yesterday that he really wants to see that Karma reroll, and while I know that's hopefully not where we're going with this for Skarambez, it's just I had to laugh because that fully itemized Karma too, it just speaks to me on an emotional level.
It's not going to be a Karma reroll, but Karma is looking to the right, seeing the Navia 2 already built, and it knows that her place on this comp is not going to last very long. Her replacement is already there. The pressure is coming on to her. The moment she does not perform, she will be sold and will not be played again the rest of this game, unfortunately.
But this does not necessarily have to be a Jade board. I think that is a big thing we need to highlight here. Depending on which way Skarambez wants to take this, it could be going into AO Shin and stuff like that as well. And, well, we have a Diamond Hands online already at free, David.
I was wrong. I said Shyvana. I said Idas. For now, it'll be Volibear. We'll see what it ends up being later into the game. For stage 3, going to work oh so well. So much health to work with. Warmogs, Diamond Hands as well, and the Hand of Justice to heal even more, but maybe not enough for just one single Volibear to do it. Sappho not looking too hot. 26 HP. I didn't say anything, but still, he seems to be cursed in this game.
He's doing his best Zbrojson cosplay, you know?
That's not what I want to hear, Guido.
No, but again, like, if he's doing his best Zbrojson cosplay, this 3-5 is going to be off the wall. He's going to hit every single thing he needs.
Keep going, Guido.
And then, you know, traverse the difficulties of this game so far and reach the promised land of top 4. Do you like this narrative instead?
I like it. Now I want to see it actually come to fruition.
Odesza, not one of the players that can make it through to tomorrow if my math is mathing correctly, but went with something here that we rarely see in competitions. He picked up Last Stand as second augment, so I'm really curious if that might upturn this lobby here.
Last Stand is so cool. But the thing is that you're playing without, you're no longer playing without a prismatic. I think that's the big thing, right? Last Stand now is gold. But you're still lacking a gold augment. You need to hit 1 HP for it to, you know, to be coming into play. And at that point in time, whenever you're balancing on the 1 HP breakpoint, it is so hard because one bad matchup, one misposition because you're trying to account for both a sonar, a fresh, stuff like that, and then you're just down and out here. And, well, Sappho made the transition here, has the IE for the AO Shin 1. Question is it going to be enough?
A difficult spot, a lot of different things to pivot to. Had Cannoneers, had the Siphon, had the Ao Shin, ends up going for Ao Shin, has dual loaded to the IE, so the damage is definitely going to be there, but the cast is not going to come out for a long time. Seems like Volibear is still doing it by himself for now. Ao Shin is just the backup plan B.
Yeah, the damage doesn't even have to come out, right? The Ao Shin's just
saving the power for later,
sitting pretty, taking a statement against everybody else here, saying, I got the first one, you better not come for me. And it is working for Sappho right now. The Volibear is barely enough to get him through.
Barely, huh? You had to go there, Mace. We've gone all of this day without a single pun from any of us, I think.
I've had mine. I've been throwing them around, David.
I've been ignoring them then, Weeda. My brain has been automatically just
nothing's changed. Well, I would like to point out here, I had pasta this morning for breakfast/lunch. I did not put ketchup on it. Are you proud of me?
That's a big improvement. I'm very proud.
All right, let's bring it back here one more time. Maybe this time we're going to see, ooh, Noerum's just spotting that Ao Shin as well. Yeah, that's my exact realization when I saw it. But let's see if Volibear can provide once more a barrier so that there needs nothing to happen from that Ao Shin. He needs to cast this time around, but he won't do enough. Sappho takes a big chunk of his health out.
Yeah, lack of healing, right? Lack of any way of accelerating the mana gain as well. No extra attack speed, no Lulu, stuff like that could really help you alleviate that issue for now. But Sappho is on that 30 gold, has the trade sector to continue to keep the upgrades, hopefully for him, rolling in. But again, he really wants to be at level 8 to kind of reach the goals that he has put in for himself right now. And he's at 40 gold, effectively. But he's going to be needing like 48 to level. It's a hard position to be in right now.
It's a tricky spot. I mean, the items are built. You're kind of forced into playing Shimmer Skill because you have the Diamond Hands already activated. It really is a tricky spot. I'm not sure how he's going to find a way out of this one. He has duplicators, so if he manages to somehow find a very lucky Ao Shin in shop, he can go Ao Shin 2 and just try and...
Is it just a volley reroll?
I mean, he has 2 Volibear copies already. He is looking for more from what it seems like. He hasn't sold them off just yet. So Sappho really on an interesting technique here has slammed that Shojin onto the Ao Shin. Hopefully that allow him to do some more casting here. But he needs to make something with these things. Yeah, here it is. That is the pivot. The bear is going to be taken out. He does have the backup on the bench. Will only be a Volibear 1 for now, but the Ao Shin at least itemized fully now.
So risky though, so much gold, 14 HP, everything on the line for this player. We'll see if this Ao Shin now with 3 items with a Shojin as well is going to be enough. Volibear on the other side of the board, so maybe that's why he ended up selling it, decided to not try and contest his Volibear, go for the more traditional front line with Ornn instead. The cast now comes in a lot quicker, but this Volibear is quite tanky, manages to survive that first wave.
And again, the big thing is to note here as well, right? The reason why I was starting to...
Oh no, Ao Shin, please!
Yeah, so this is gonna be, he's still gonna be alive here. The big thing now is he's going to be able to push level 8s with this gold here. He needs 1 copy of Ao Shin due to the fact that we haven't really talked about too much. That is going to be the champion duplicator on the bench here for Sappho.
Sappho, you can do it. We believe in you.
And that is going to be the massive spike he's going to be looking for here. Prismatic last augment is also going to be
the wrong dragons.
Him, the godsend. He's talking about the wrong dragons right now. They're coming through thick and fast. Any 10-cost dragons that are not Shyvana. Already installed again. Bard, this is for the tournament life of Sappho. With the entire lobby now being on their prismatic third augments, they're going to be prioritizing those combat augments. And the power level of this board is going to be so low. He's sacrificing so much power because of the Shimmer Scale units here as well. He needs this upgrade. He's not going to find it.
Aurelian Soul, please
goodness.
remove yourself from the champion pool.
Wrong dragons again and again and again. There were so many pikes in there. We did see some Yasuos turn up, but none of that was what Sappho was looking for. Maybe nonetheless he can manage to snack a win here and get another chance at looking for what he was searching. He does have the duplicator on the bench. You were saying it. He only needs 1 more Ao Shin, but it doesn't seem like the game wants to give him just that. One more time, the lightning rain is going to come crashing down here, but it's not going to be enough. The execute from the Yasuo is coming in, and Sappho does survive with 4 HP.
Also, as we're talking about now, Odesza is starting to approach that lower life total, so again, we can get a little reminder about what Last Stand actually is going to be doing here. I do believe we're going to be having a card come up on the screen just very shortly.
7 10-cost dragons. None of them have been AO Shin. Extremely unfortunate for Sappho in this game.
So just to grab this Last Stand here for a second, right? As Sappho currently is doing his Last Stand, well, Odesza is also very close. It's going to be a Spanish Last Stand here. But again, the first time you would take lethal damage, you would instead, go to 1 HP, yada, yada, yada. You get a lot of extra combat power to your board here. And now Zbrojson, he has kind of hit some of those spikes you're talking about. He has hit the best friends free as well. So this is going to be a massively accelerated fight all over here. This bot ulti is going to be so massive. He's going to buy the time for this AO Shin to start raining down the lightning. It's going to be enough to fully take over, though. And it looks like it's not going to be enough here. Sappho is going to be down and out.
Unfortunate. He was not able to snack that last place. This means he won't be able to qualify for day number 3. He did show up and performed really well, so huge shout out to Sappho as well. But the rest of the players, they're still here, and they're still fighting, throwing hands, trying to get through. So let's keep our eyes on these guys. You said it before, Odesza has that Last Stand, is approaching it slowly but surely with the extra momentum change of a prismatic augment coming in. Of course, that just, throws everything around. We've had it before. I really want to check in with everybody else. What are they up to?
Can we comment on the Zbrojson special? Once again, 40-ish HP, win streaking after rolling down at 3-5 and stabilizing. Incredible. Almost every single game is able to pull off the same exact thing.
His setup is also just insane here, right? Best Friends free is so good. He also has Celestial Blessing too. While it is not necessarily fantastic, gluteus maximus now, he's just hitting upgrades left, right, and center. But the Celestial Blessing is going to be enough to keep these fights up, especially paired with that Best Friends free. That healing source is going to be coming through continuously, and it is close to being the best in that augment. He's just chilling, right? Like, he's big streaking. He could have gone level 8 right now just to add a little bit extra power to his board, but there is no need for it. His board's just strong enough as is.
Yeah, looks like it. Also looks like he's currently fighting a ghost copy, or at least I cannot spy an enemy little legend. So this should be a quick and easy win for Zbrojson. I'm a little bit more worried about Pitik and Odesza, who are fighting it out down there. Noerum, I believe, is on a Jade comp last time we saw him, so he's been doing really well with that. But yeah, we see it. Odesza taking another loss here, going down to 21. Once he hits that 1 HP, the Last Stand will come in and hopefully carry him back up.
Deja 2 is a big upgrade for Odesza. Might help him stabilize now at 20 HP.
Also has that Mirage emblem, right, which means that he can drop one of those lower unit Mirages, such as the Leona, get improved unit quality, which is so important because, like, the Leona, for all of how good she is in general, she's not a very strong unit, right? Like, she at 1-star doesn't add anything to the comp. There's no Guardian, there's no nothing else here. So
there's the AO Shin 2 for Skarambez, so at least someone is hitting this AO Shin 2.
And also, this allows him to flex in another guild unit as well, right? Like, this is going to be 4 guild. We saw this setup from Daisy a couple of games ago. It might not necessarily top 1, but it definitely could be a top 4. But look at, like, the damage there is just surreal, right? Like, so much damage coming through, man.
And so quick as well, which means that Ascension not really even able to do anything for Pitik. Unfortunately, a player that we've talked about has 19 points coming into this game 6. Had to essentially get first to really have a good chance of making it to day 3. Right now, not looking great for him. 26 HP, currently 6th in the standings.
Yeah, we're just hopping around, seeing how everyone's faring as we go to the Treasure Dragon. TapLast currently here. He's probably looking for some extra spice, something he can use with that batter together. It would be very nice for him, but he's just going to pick up whatever's in there.
Looking for the siphon more than anything.
Well, he's not going to find a siphon in the Treasure Dragon.
Not with that attitude, Makes. Not with that attitude. He could have found a champion duplicator, which technically would contain a siphon. He found another siphon in shop. You just gotta widen your horizons. No?
All right. I'll take it. He does find it, though. It is there. Siphon has been picked up for TapLast. He has used his gold, has rolled down to look for it. Level 8 now. We are seeing the economy by Blitz.gg come in on the right side of the screen. And notably, Petic is the only player here that's still on level 7. He should probably get with the gang and level up, but he doesn't seem to have the gold for it. He's rolling down instead.
This is like the Mean Girls meme where like they just like rock up with the car to like get in, we're leveling up, and then Patek can't jump in the car because he can't pay in Thrifty, or like is that like the kind of vibe you're trying to sell right now, Mix, or what's going on?
I mean, it's how it feels. I'm just saying what I see, okay? Sure, Jan, let's go as we go into this round for Petic here. He is also not standing too well right now. 26 HP, would like to get into those top 4 for sure. And Ascension, of course, coming in here, providing him a little bit of assistance. Not sure if it will be enough against that Siphon, though. He looks very, very scary. But the Corki seems to be able to do it. I don't know. He's just healing so much. I have no way to tell anymore. But yeah, Corki takes him out here for once, and Petic can find a win against his companion, who is 1 level above him.
Again, worth noting, Odesza is currently winning fights despite being down a gold augment. I think that is something that you kind of got to applaud to a certain extent. It also kind of speaks volumes about how strong this board is. And once that last stand will start coming in here, it could be a real big issue for most of the people in the lobby, right? Like right now, Odesza is actually like looking at a level 9 here without any real big issue. The only feasible upgrades you could roll for right now would be Bar 2, not really feasible on level 8, Heckram 2. A little bit more possible, but if you're not losing fights, there's no reason to really start looking for these upgrades.
And the Yasuo too as well, but yeah, like you mentioned, legendaries at level 9 will be much easier to hit. That being said, still a little bit far away from that point, and again, doesn't really have that HP buffer to work with. 7th place in the standings with 21 HP. But this day just so powerful, so much damage on every single one of these ults.
Yeah, just watch it come through, slicing the enemy units in the line in front of her. That wind blast doing her justice. She will find a win again and again. And yeah, Gluteus now down 9 HP. I believe Gluteus was one of the players that still had it. No, he didn't have a chance. All right, so he's eliminated anyway. But he went from 1 volley 2 to 1 copy short of at the Volibear 3. And I know you find my puns unbearable, but I get to do them again.
What I find unbearable is that Safo died so close to the Alshin 2, and maybe Gluteus will die in the same position, oh so close to hitting the power spike that might seal the deal and stabilize him all the way to stage 6. So very unfortunate if he can't survive at least one more fight here to have a few more natural rolls.
He hits the board of Odesza though. That is,
Ooh.
that could be scary as well, especially when you look at the positioning here as well. This first wind blast should at least like clip the volley back. Yeah, it does. Maybe it's actually a good matchup to a certain extent, right? Because the volley back goes directly on to the Odesza here.
Yeah, I actually don't. I was going to say I don't think it's so bad, but the bear got knocked out of the park. I thought it was okay because the Yasuo was just on to the Ashe, not doing much, but Gluteus is going to get knocked out here. Again, he did not have any chance to get qualified for tomorrow anymore based on his standing, so a little bit expected, but also sad as we go into the next carousel. Full items in this one, and players are rushing to get them.
Yasuo looking juicy with QSS, not a bad item, especially if you're able to hit that Yasuo too, thanks to picking it up off the carousel. Going to be a great upgrade for most of these players.
Very, very unfortunate that we couldn't see the bear in its entire glory. I would have liked to see that, similar to the way that I would have liked to see the Alshin, but unfortunately upon that you had to curse it, so it happened the way it happened. But yeah, we're back with Odesza. Oh, because he said he's going to die the exact same way.
I said I hope he doesn't die.
Well, that's the same thing. You're a caster, so you cursed it. But yeah, Odesza still playing without 1 augment and winning. Imagine if Odesza just won this without ever dropping to 1 HP, right?
That would be kind of crazy. I want to highlight something here, right? He ended up picking up the Yasuo pair here off of the carousel and then using a Reforger to reforge the item on the Yasuo. Ended up being the death cap that we're currently seeing on the Nunu. Nice little adaptation here, just try to put themselves ever so close to hitting that pair, right? So the once he is going to be able to go to level 9, he is going to be able to hit that Yasuo pair a little bit more effortlessly.
And some bad news for the players in the top 8 lobby, because some of the players that had the best position to actually make it to day 3 to jump up in the standings, Skarambez, Noerum, and TapLast are all among the top players in this lobby. Safo got taken down in 8th. He is not going to be there. TapLast actually got taken a big hit down to 21 HP, but Skarambez and Noerum, both players that were the 2 other players aside from Safo that were 9th and 10th in the standings, are now 1st and 2nd in this lobby.
Odesza finding that Yasuo 2 and Noerum finding that Shio U2. Very, very nice coming in here for these players. But yeah, we are over at Skarambez plays. Pyke 2 on the board, Yasuo 1, Zoe 2, and Aoshin 2. That board is just rich and rich and rich. High-end shopping really providing the full experience for Skarambez.
I like the synergy of the two Zoes casting at the same time, by the way. That was kind of fun, not gonna lie.
The weirdest thing here is that the hardest units to 2-star are the ones that are 2-starred on this board, Aoshin and Pyke, whereas you have a Silas 1, you have every other unit is still a 1-star, and you would think would be already a 2-star coming at this point, almost in stage 6.
I think that currently if you are in the top part of the lobby, right, like if you're in the first lobby right now, you're banking everything that you have on Zbrojson winning this lobby. But Odesza did take a loss now, so down to 14, but still has like at minimum 2 lives left, right, with the last stand kicking in here in a second as well. So interesting couple of things to note here. Noerum on the 9 Jade spike here. I mean, technically it's 10 Jade, but who's counting? Which means he does like he's playing a lot of Jade units, but he doesn't really have like a secondary carry unit in here with something like a Talon, for example. We've seen the Pyke set up as well. That you're kind of limiting yourself when you are playing the 9 Jade setup. I would like to see, because you are at 10 Jade, to see if you could find room for potentially like a Fresh, for example, to kind of start threatening these corner carries like the Aoshin from Skarambez.
Yeah, exactly. And we did see the economy overlay. It's still on the right side of the screen as players are rolling down here, trying to find some upgrades. It is going to be Zbrojson, who's the only one here with something to work with.
Odesza, despite not really being in contention for the day 3, still putting up a great fight, was at 20 HP, 7th place, was able to stabilize, and now it's still looking strong. As we mentioned, to go level 9 and find those upgrades and still fight for this lobby, end up with a good placement in this game 6. And TapLast could be on his final life. If he's not able to win this fight, he might not be able to go to this day 3 as well. Noerum also 16 HP all the time. The HP totals have gone down drastically. It's going to be, looks like a big loss, but Shio turning things around here. Going to be able to fight off this Siphon. It looks like never mind. Siphon once again proving to be the superior dragon. And Noerum gets taken down exactly 0 HP. His odds of making it to day 3, I think, are very, very slim with a 5th place.
And now we have the fancy effects here, right? Makes like last stand has kicked in.
Yes, isn't it so pretty? It's aesthetically one of the best augments, period. So really beautiful to see that. Shout out to Patrick also being knocked out in that round, though. It is down to Odesza, TapLast, Zbrojson, and Skarambez, who are fighting it out. Notably, TapLast and Odesza down to single-digit HP, while Zbrojson and Skarambez looking pretty healthy. So we're going to see if Odesza gets knocked out here. It will be all eyes on the Deja and how many enemy units she can annihilate. The Bard on the right side will try to assist, but in the middle of the board, there is a very scary unit that would like to stop this from happening. He's on to the Bard. He's on to the Deja. Will debuff her. Can she take him out? Yes, she can. That should be the win for Odesza against Zbrojson. TapLast, however, being knocked out here with minus 13 HP.
And TapLast with the 4th place also makes it, I think, quite difficult to make it into day 3. Odesza and Zbrojson essentially playing spoiler right now, but Skarambez with 56 HP, with a win streak, with the clear strength of his board, I think almost guarantees now with a first place in this lobby, if he were to do so, a spot in the day 3, among the top 8 players for tomorrow.
Currently, this breakpoint looks to be 25. It's going to be increased in a second, but 27, 28-ish. It's always like the traditional breakpoint when it is going to be top 50 cards here. So that is something that we're going to be letting our lovely admins do the work of here and just kind of just like revel in the glory here of this last stand guild Odesza with Spell Sword. However, Skarambez's board could be the one to take it all away here and just end the dreams of Odesza.
Yeah, Odesza will need to stay in here as the Ao Shin is raining down lightning onto the Odesza. She's getting sniped by the Zoe as well one more time, and the lightning rain is just too much for the Odesza to handle as she falls down, and it's down to Skarambez and Zbrojson here.
Cavalier spat, possibly on a Yasuo. Of course, we've seen Yasuo fit in so many different comps coming into the late game, but instead it will be Zoe picked up and Skarambez with the mage spat instead. And Skarambez, again, with Ao Shin 2 so early into, what was it, early stage 5 or late stage 4, hit the Ao Shin 2, and since then I think hasn't really lost a fight. 9 win streak now.
I mean, I think Skarambez qualifies for tomorrow with guaranteed an 8th place, but I think the 7th also looks good. So really, this is a showcasing of Zbrojson and Skarambez of what they're able. We're still gonna keep our eyes open. I don't think Zbrojson can get killed here. We will watch though. I'm not too sure. I predicted this wrongly once before, so I don't want this to happen again. The Ao Shin on the left side of the screen is ramping up. The mana comes in, cast comes down onto the Siphon, but the Siphon on his hand has made way for the Ao Shin, and he's just eating him up. I don't think that Yasuo can do anything against this Siphon. He's gonna cast one more time, stop the execution from happening, but the Pike has different plans.
We thought the Ao Shin was the star of the show, then we thought it was Yasuo, but really it was Pike all along, able to just barely get a win there, not able to actually knock out Zbrojson in the process though, but one more win for Skarambez and he guarantees his place in tomorrow's top 8.
It's definitely an important thing here. Like, again, both of these players have very low income to work with. And again, I want to highlight the fact that there's a triple cone currently being put onto a best friend's free buffed Noms that could reduce so much damage as the final fight commences.
I really want to see the damage breakdown for that Nomsy as we go into what could be the last round for today and for Zbrojson. One more time, the crescendo onto the Ao Shin disables him for just a short moment, but he is going to get the cast out. Not gonna be enough against the Siphon. They're all onto him, but here comes the Pike one more time, being the hero, taking out the Siphon, and it is going to be a win for Skarambez in round number 6, who qualifies for day 3. We love to see that.